honestly, she's sitting, okay? The face is sitting. Hey girl, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Faye, and for today's video, I'm bringing you guys another foundation review. If you are new here, I do have oily skin, and the brands have been dropping the complexion products back to back. So I have been trying to pick them up as quickly as I can so that I can review them for you and let my oily skin girls know if they are worth the coin. So for today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the new Makeup by Mario. This is the SURREALSKIN Liquid Foundation. If you enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you find it helpful and want to stick around for some other videos, you can subscribe to my channel down below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the review. Alright y'all, so like I said, today's video is going to be a review of the new Makeup by Mario foundation. I picked up the shade number 18W. I did go in the store to pick up this foundation because I wanted to make sure that I got the right shade. I swatched the shade before this, which was 17 something, as well as the shade after this, which was 19 something. The 17 shade was too light and the 19 shade was both too deep and too red, I believe. So I ended up settling on the 18W. So this is what we're going to be reviewing today. So before we get into the review, you guys know I have to let you guys know the claim so that we can see if it actually lives up to what it says the highlights of the product are. So on the Sephora website, it says that it's supposed to have a natural finish. It's supposed to be hydrating, long wearing, medium coverage. It's also supposed to be a breathable, luminous foundation that effortlessly builds and blends to illuminate the complexion with customizable, long wearing coverage. So we're gonna test it out. I showed you guys the packaging in the intro, but this is what the box of the product looks like. I also like on the side of the box that you can see a little sliver of the shade. And then on the top, of course, it tells you what the color is, and mine is in the color 18W. So let's go ahead and take her out of the packaging. Once you take it out, this is what the actual packaging looks like. Nice glass packaging, and she has a pump. Honestly, at this point, if any brand is coming out with a foundation that doesn't have a pump, if it's not like a squeeze tube, I don't really know what you're doing at this point. I feel like all foundations should have a pump, and that's just that on that. All right, so we're just jumping straight into it today. I'm going in with my usual primers. I'm gonna be using the Milk Makeup. Oh, first of all, let me zoom y'all in. Okay, much better now that y'all can see what's going on. So first up, I'm going in with the Milk Makeup. You guys know I always use this one, the Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer. I'm just going to apply this all over the skin, and this primer is gonna give us a nice matte base to work with. Next up, to blur my pores, I'm going in with this primer from Cali Ray, another current favorite of mine. This one is the So Blown Blurring Primer, and I'm really just going to focus this on my cheek area and my nose, just the areas that need a little bit more blurring. All right, and then last but not least, we're going in with the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I have the slightest little bit of this left in the container, but I recently picked up the new pink one, so I'm trying to use this one up. And we're just going to apply this all over the face. All right, so the face is primed. I also dropped my chair down a little bit so that the top of my head isn't being cut off by the camera. I'm going to set my primers today because the claims for this foundation are similar to the claims that the Juvia's Place foundation had. And when I reviewed that foundation, which if you're interested in seeing that review, I will link it for you guys. But when I reviewed that one, I did not set my primers, and I'm just curious to know if that would have made a difference in the way that it wore throughout the day. So today I am going to set my primers, and we're going to see if it makes a difference. For that, you guys already know I'm using my Urban Decay All Nighter Waterproof Setting Powder, and I'm just going to lightly set my face, focusing mostly on the areas where I get the most oily, which is my T-zone and my cheek area. All right, so now that the face is prepped, we can go ahead and get into the foundation. I am going to pump this out on my little tray. You guys know I always use this just so that you guys can see the consistency of the product. So I'm gonna do probably 2 pumps. Well, I did 2.5 because that first one, y'all know the first pump is always a little struggle pump. So I did 2.5. This is what the product looks like, the consistency. I'm trying not to blind you guys, but you can see it's a little runny, but nothing crazy. It's not like a super watery formula. So let's go ahead and apply it to the skin and pray that this is going to be a good shade. It does claim on here that it's supposed to be, what did it say? Customizable. illuminate the complexion with customizable long wearing coverage, which to me, that sounds like, I don't know if it's supposed to like adapt to your skin. I don't know, but child, we gonna see. So I'm just gonna pick it up with my little concealer brush and okay. This might be a good shade. And I also like the texture of it. I feel like it's probably gonna give us some decent coverage. Okay, I'm not gonna go too crazy with it. All right, so let's go ahead and blend out what we've got. I'm gonna pull this back just a little. And this does not have a scent. That was like a major thing with the Juvia's Place one. It was very heavily scented. This one is not. And the shade, okay, wait, the shade might be pretty spot on. Yeah, I'm here for the shade. The shade is doing what it needs to do. So let's just blend it in. And I'm also gonna close my door real quick. I don't know if y'all can hear or not, but the washing machine is going and it's kind of loud, so I'm gonna do that. I really like the way it's blending in also. It's not really requiring a ton of effort. And I am a brush person when it comes to foundations. If you've been following my channel, you already know that. As you guys saw, I do have like some dark spots on my cheek area and things that I want to cover. So I prefer to use a brush because sponges usually are going to shear the coverage. And I'm not really trying to shear it out. Whatever coverage it's trying to give me, I want the coverage. Okay, so this is what the skin is looking like. The first layer. I think it looks really good. I'm definitely going to go in with another layer just on these areas just to see how it builds. But for the first layer, I think it looks really nice. It's definitely giving skin. Even though it has, or is supposed to have, a more luminous formula, I'm not getting like overly luminous, I can't talk. I'm not getting that on the skin. I feel like it just looks very healthy, like skin-like. And to me, it's giving even less luminous compared to the Juvia's Place one. Again, if you haven't watched that video after you finish watching this video, you should check out that one just so you can see the comparison, because the claims were very similar. But with this, I don't feel like it's giving as much luminosity to the skin, which is more promising for me for how it'll wear throughout the day, which obviously we're gonna see once we get into the wear test. But I actually really like the way that this looks on the skin, but I am gonna go in with another layer, just I think on my cheek area. So, and this is how much I had left after applying that first layer. So I could probably get away with like 1.5 pumps of this, because I'm going to end up having a good bit of this left over. So yeah, I definitely pumped out a lot more than I needed. But let's see how it builds. So second layer is definitely giving coverage. You can see my natural, it still looks like my natural skin, but it definitely gave that area where I had those dark spots a little bit more coverage. So this is one of those foundations that you can definitely build up in the areas where you want more coverage and sheer out in the areas that you don't really need a ton of coverage. Okay, so this is the skin after 2 layers. Well, a layer and then an extra layer on my cheeks, as you guys saw. I think it looks really good. I'm actually really excited. I don't know if adding that layer of powder down is what made the difference. I may have to test it out on another day without the powder, but I'm definitely loving the way that this is looking on the skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my face. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. I'm just gonna do my regular face routine, and then I will come back and show you guys how everything is looking. We're just gonna focus on the foundation today, keep it straight to the point with this review. So I'm gonna do all of my face and makeup off camera. I will link everything for you guys down below if you're interested in what I used, and then I'll come back and show you guys how everything came together. All right, y'all, so I have switched everything over to battery. I normally run everything like plugged in, but I had to go and find batteries for all my lights and my camera so that the show can continue. But yes, like I was saying, this is what the face is looking like after applying all the product on the skin. I didn't do anything new. I used all of my regular products that I always use, which I always do anytime I'm doing a foundation review, just so that we can keep, you know, most things constant, and the only thing that we're doing different is the foundation. On my eyes, if you are curious, I use the Makeup by Mario palette. I just kind of stuck in like this range here with the reds and a little bit of brown. And these lashes, I'm living for the lashes. These are Ardell lashes from this little set, and I use the bottom one, 3D Faux Mink. So if you're interested, this is the set, the 3D Faux Mink set. And I really wanted something like natural, but still like a little wing to the lash, and I'm really living for these. Like, they look like lash extensions in my opinion, like a natural set. But anyways, just wanted to check in with you guys. It is currently, where is my phone? I think I left my phone in the room, but it is currently 3:30. Oh, looking at my computer, it's 3:36. So sorry y'all, I'm a little discombobulated because again, the power is out, but I wanted to make sure that I did this first check-in so that we can continue, and when I check in later I can show you guys the time. So I apologize, my phone's in the other room because I'm using it for internet for something else, but you'll just have to trust me this time. I'm not showing y'all the time, but it is 3:36, 3:37 now for the first check-in. This is what the face is looking like. And again, like I was saying when I initially applied the foundation on the skin, for this to be a luminous foundation, it definitely is looking really good on the skin right now, especially for me having oily skin. This initial application, I have very high hopes for how this is going to wear throughout the day, because again, there was another luminous foundation that I tried out and it was giving very much luminous, like straight upon application. Even after I had set everything, it was still giving very much luminous. With this one, I feel like my skin looks healthy. You can still see some, you know, a little bit of luminosity coming through, but it doesn't look shiny, which makes me feel like this is going to wear very nicely. So again, we're going to go throughout the day. I had some other things that I needed to get done. Not sure how that process is going to go now that the power is out, but I obviously will keep you guys posted. I'll try to wear this for you guys as long as possible, at least 6 or 7 hours, and I'll check back in with you guys a little bit later. I'm going to try my best not to touch up the skin at all. But again, if I do have to touch up the skin, I will come back on and show you guys, you know, how the foundation is looking before I do that. And what else? I forgot to mention to you guys the price of the foundation, I think, and the shades. There are 30 shades, and I believe the price of the foundation is $36. I hate that I left my phone in the other room. I'll have it, if 36 is not correct, I'll have it on the screen with the correct prices, and I will also link the foundation for you guys down below. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and start the wear test, and I will check back in with you guys a little bit later. Hey y'all, so we're checking in. The power's back on, thank goodness. We ended up just going to a Mexican restaurant, getting something to eat, and pretty much the time that it took us to go to the Mexican restaurant, eat, and come back, the power was back on. So that was about like an hour, hour and a half. The power was off, but we're back in business. It is currently 6:30, almost 6:28. There's the timestamp for you guys. So it's been about 3 hours, and this is what the face is looking like. Ooh, listen, I'm very excited about this because the face is sitting, okay? She is sitting. The face is sitting, period. So yeah, just wanted to check back in with you guys real quick. I just finished filming a video. I filmed an Ulta haul, well, Ulta and Sephora haul, bunch of stuff sitting in front of me. So that will be up very soon if it's not up already. But just wanted to check back in with you guys, let you guys know how things were going. Yes, the power is back on. Didn't want to leave you hanging with that. And this is how the face is looking at the 3-hour mark. She's looking good, honey. And I haven't like powdered or done anything to the face. I just sat down, just finished filming a video, and this is how we're looking. So I'm going to continue on with my day. I need to go and do a couple returns, and then I probably am going to start working on the edit for tomorrow's video, and then I'll check back in with you guys probably much later on, like in another 4 hours or so. So we can try to get like 7 hours in. Let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9. That would be 10:30. So try to get another 3 to 4 hours in for you guys, and then I'll check back in a little bit later. But so far so good. All right, y'all, so I am back as promised with the final check-in of the night. It is currently 10:51, as you can see. So we went a little bit longer, about 21 minutes longer than I promised, but I wore this foundation for over 7 hours. We did our initial check-in at 3:30. It is now 10:51. So we had a little bit of a 7-hour wear, a little bit over a 7-hour wear test today for this foundation. So this is what the face is looking like. Again, I did check in at the 4-hour mark. We were looking pretty good. We, kind of did a little bit of a touch up, nothing too crazy. And this is how we are looking now. Honestly, this is not really crazy for me. I am a little bit oily here in this area, as I tend to be, in the center of my forehead, like on my T-zone, as I tend to be. But to have had this foundation on for 7 hours, I'm pretty impressed. And also, it's not like I'm oily, but it's not breaking up. Like in my nose area and my smile lines, it's still very much intact. Let me zoom you guys in a little so you can see. And I'm gonna drop my chair down. Okay, so you guys can see up close what the face is looking like. A little oily, well, a lot oily. My typical oiliness is what I'm seeing on the face, but nothing that is alarming. So let's go ahead and set the face, and a clean tissue would actually be great. Okay, so clean tissue, you guys already know the vibes. So we're gonna go ahead and blot first to see. Okay, so this is what came off on the tissue. So a decent amount of, a little bit of transfer, but nothing too crazy. And the darkness, of course, again, is my brow from when I blotted. Also want to mention that since earlier, I went out and ran a couple errands. I had to do a couple returns, went to Ulta, picked up a couple things. I had to go in the grocery store to get some things. I wore a mask, so keep that in mind. This is how the face is looking even after wearing a mask in the store while I was running errands. And yeah, so I did actually go out, and I mentioned to you guys earlier, it was storming crazy, so it's very wet, misty, moist outside. So with all of that in mind, this is how the face held up. So even with just blotting, if for some random reason I didn't have a powder to set with, my skin looks great. But y'all already know I'm going to go over it with my Urban Decay powder, as I typically would if I were out and about. Just a little, nothing too crazy. So just to show a before and after, on the left side of the face, we have set with powder. On the right side of the face, we have not. So you can definitely see a difference between the two sides of the face. And we're definitely still giving luminous over here. Still some luminosity over here, but definitely much more matte. So we're gonna set this side. Okay. So again, up close, this is what the face is looking like after setting with powder. And honestly, she's sitting, okay? The face is sitting. All right, so the verdict is in for the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Foundation. I give this foundation a 10 out of 10. For this to be a luminous foundation for an oily skin girl, it's really doing what it needs to do. I'm sure that my whole skin routine, the way that I prime, setting my primers with powder, I'm sure all of that made a difference. But even so, being able to wear a foundation that claims to be luminous and hydrating on my very, very oily skin for over 7 hours and have my face still look like this is saying a lot. So Mario definitely did what needed to be done with this foundation. I think it's a formula that will work across a wide variety of skin types. and I definitely love it. I'm putting it in my drawer. It's actually been in my drawer after I did my 4-hour check-in. I was like, yep, we're keeping this one. So she's going in the drawer. I will definitely be using it. I can see why all the girls are loving it, but I, of course, just wanted to test it out for other oily skin girls as well as for myself, because sometimes foundations that everyone's going crazy about don't always work amazing for me because of my skin type. But this one did not disappoint. 10 out of 10, would recommend. Let me know down below in the comments if you've tried it, if you plan on picking it up, what your thoughts are about it, what your thoughts were on this review. Did you expect it to wear the way that it did? Like, let's chat down below in the comments. I'm very pleased, very happy that it worked for me, that I can keep it, that I can continue to use it, and I can enjoy it the way that I've seen so many people enjoying it in their reviews on YouTube. So yeah, that's all that I have for you guys for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Give it a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and subscribe to join the fam, and I'll see you guys very soon in my next video.